for whatever reason, I look like a breeder, and people like will argue with me about having kids.
Oh, yeah. No, you would be a wonderful woman for a man to have kids with.
No, I would be a terrible person to have kids with.
Well, you don't want...
In 1993, Chipotle is founded by this guy, Steve Ells. After graduating culinary school in 1990, Ells works as a sous chef in San Francisco and becomes enamored with local mission-style burritos, known for their jumbo size and tinfoil wrappers. 3 years later, Ells borrows about $75K from his dad and uses the loan to open the first Chipotle Mexican grill in Denver.
I don't think you could find a more typical modern American business success story than Chipotle. A guy goes to culinary school and then he sees the local people making a burrito that he wants to replicate. And then he goes to his dad and says, hey, Dad, going to get $75,000. His dad's like, here, take it. But it gets even more American as we go along.
Ells calculates he has to sell 114 burritos a day to break even. By the end of the first month, Chipotle Mexican Grill is selling over 1,000 burritos a day. Ells starts expanding, and in 1996, his parents raise about $1.3 million, mostly from wealthy friends. But to grow quickly, Chipotle needs a lot more capital. Enter McDonald's.
So you know what happened after that. Chipotle grew into a multinational chain, I imagine, at this point, and it took the local artisanal bacon wrap burrito or whatever you put in your burrito and took it to national prominence. But then...
Has Chipotle lost its mind? My son and I just got done at the gym with a workout. We went into Chipotle. We got 2 bowls and 2 drinks. And granted, we did get double meat, but we didn't get chips. We didn't get guac. $52.64 for 2 bowls and 2 drinks at Chipotle. This used to be like $11 for a burrito bowl.
Today I'm here in the parking lot of this restaurant, Chipotle. And something you'll notice is kind of funny. There's not many customers here and the place is kind of dead. It's actually Friday afternoon around 12:30, peak lunchtime. And it really exemplifies something that's going on with the chain, which is it's not doing very well. And this chain has gone from a restaurant chain that was once valued at $50 billion, got investment from McDonald's, was beloved by customers, to today is something that customers hate. It has some of the lowest approval ratings in the industry. And worst of all, the numbers show it. Last year, the same store sales went down 5% year over year at Chipotle. Just horrible.
This is a $12 burrito from Chipotle that hasn't been this unpopular since the E. coli scare 10 years ago. The reason is that people who are Chipotle's core customer are struggling with inflation.
Something that happens with us when we are able to go to our local restaurant and get our favorite hamburger or burrito, pizza, etc., and it's at an affordable price, is that we don't spend a lot of time thinking about how it's made, where the ingredients are sourced from. We just enjoy the fact that this is a food I like. I go in there with some spare money I have from whatever, and I go buy it. I sit down and eat it. I enjoy it. Me personally, I've gone through this with the McDonald's cheeseburger. It's just a nostalgia burger to me because I can remember the first time I had one as a kid in grade school, and that taste has stuck with me. But now when I go to the store and it's $2.50, or roughly translated, my first question is not, why is it suddenly so much more expensive? My actual first question is, what is actually in this? What is it made of so that I can replicate this taste in some way that's either cheaper or more amenable to what I want? That's what happens to many people now when they go to Chipotle, thinking, if I want to spend $12 on one burrito, maybe I could just go to the supermarket, get a pack of tortillas, all of the ingredients, and I could make 15 burritos or 10 burritos for a tenth of the price. And then the question becomes, what was so special about going to the store and buying the burrito in the first place? When someone is essentially telling you it's worth $12 now, and either you have the money or you don't. And in the dating market is, are you a man or are you not a man? And then you have guys saying, well, you know what? If I'm going to go in the dating marketplace with this?
How's it possible that Black women can work 60+ hours a week, cook, clean, mother, be the breadwinner, go back to school to get a master's degree, and deal with perimenopause. But black men can't find a good job due to systemic oppression.
Maybe I need to rethink the whole thing.
Dating hasn't caught up with the data. So women are making in many areas as much or more than men, but then they still feel like, well, they want the man to be the provider and to split the bill and all of that. And that's been something that was taught to them since they were little is if he likes you, then he'll pay for the date. If he likes you, he'll be the provider. Well, what happens in a world where men are less able to do that? And similarly, for men, if your only role is to be a provider, but now we need more from you, we need emotional intelligence, then are you prepared to do that?
Just for clarity, what would be an example of starting a legacy?
I think legacy is very silly. Like, I think the whole concept is silly because I don't think that I think we as humans have this incredibly elevated God-like mentality of ourselves that we are just going to be remembered for generations and our power is going to get passed on from so on to so forth. And, 5 generations from now, they're going to be talking about, Grandma Joy. They're not going to be talking about you. They don't care.
That's not true.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
It's very interesting that on the eve of Thanksgiving, Joy Taylor chooses now to dismiss the idea of the importance of the family tree, something that is going to be the topic of discussion over dinner tables and flip through picture books while people are gathering Christmas decorations for their trees. You're going to have stories about, I remember going to great-granddad's house, great-grandma's house, and we ate fruit off the tree. And what Joy Taylor is essentially telling you and people that identify with her is that if you want a legacy, you're asking too much. Now, if you were a guy some 3, 4, 5 generations ago, the expectation is that coming into the dating pool, a woman with either new or gently pre-owned is going to want to have a legacy with you. But what happens when young ladies say, you know what, even you asking for a legacy, you're asking for too much. But what I need you to be a provider, even though I make money, and I need you to be emotionally available, and I need you to do this and this and this. And also, I don't want to have kids. And also, I'm not going to cook for you. So what does that do when you're essentially pricing marriage the same way you're pricing a $12 burrito that used to be $4?
And I have this conversation with men a lot because for whatever reason, I look like a breeder. And people will argue with me about having kids.
Oh yeah, no, you would be a wonderful woman for a man to have kids with.
No, I would be a terrible person to have kids with.
Well, you don't want the point I'm making is I understand why a man would want to get you pregnant. Right, absolutely. But I'm saying the reason of the why is, first of all, to get Joy Taylor pregnant and to say that I have a baby by Joy Taylor and no other man can say that. Do you know how many men would pay buku money just to say I have a baby by Joy Taylor?
How much are we talking? There's no amount of money. There's no amount of money.
When people speak about a male loneliness epidemic, what they're essentially saying is that I don't understand why men aren't going into the dating pool where there are Joy Taylors who are simply telling you, I'm here for the sex, but I'm not here for anything besides you giving me money so that I continue to have sex with you. That's not the arrangement that has worked for thousands of years where a guy and a girl get together and have a family. She's just saying, I have the biological means to not have a child and I'm sexy and you want to be with me. So even teasing the idea that how much money you have to pay her to have a child for you, quote unquote, she's totally disconnected the idea of sex from procreation. It's something you do to feel good. And if you want to feel good with me, you got to pay. And if you don't want to pay, then they call it the male loneliness epidemic.
I understand the desire why a guy would want to have a baby by you. Absolutely.
That's such a disgusting thought.
I understand that. I get both sides of the coin. I get how you're disgusted by that. Well, actually, I don't get that part. But why
it would be no. I'm not disgusted. They're gonna clip this up like Joyce. I am an insane person, but I love children. I just don't want to have them.
Right.
I think it's great to have children.
Right.
I just don't want to have them.
Right.
I think it's great to want a legacy. That's not true. I think legacy is silly. I think it's great to want a family and to pass things on and recipes and all that. I think all this stuff is great. It's not for me. And I think that if you aren't actually building a family and you're just making children so that in your brain, your genes live on because you think you're special, it's nuts. And it's not a legacy and it's total bullshit.
It's not because Gen Z's not eating out anymore. It's because you guys have lost your damn minds. where you guys are charging people over $25 to get a burrito bowl of cheap Mexican food and a regular drink, not even a biggie drink. It's like a medium. Like, how in the world do you expect people to keep coming in when you've jacked your prices over 3 times what they've been just since the start of COVID? This is 100% your fault that your stock is down 15%, because you guys have raised your prices way past the point where regular people are willing to pay them. Until your prices come down, your business is going to keep sinking.
Until your prices come down, your business is going to keep sinking. Until your prices come down, your business is going to keep sinking.
48 some odd year old Kendra G and 38ish some odd year old Joy Taylor have every right to price themselves in the dating market the way that they choose to. But it is a market after all, and if they want millionaires or very wealthy men to walk by all of the young ladies that are becoming a quote unquote legal age every single day to come date them, and then considering that they can also go overseas where young ladies may still see value in becoming a grandmother or still see value in having a family, as opposed to this kind of idea that having a family, even having kids, is yucky, and that a man shouldn't even want to have a legacy. I mean, the market's going to speak for itself. All you have to do is look at Chipotle. Chipotle used to be the bee's knees. People lined up and you go in there for your bowl. Of course, I've never had it because I've been here so long, but I've heard that it was the bomb. And now it's like a bomb went off in Chipotle. And if that's the dating market, and ever pre-used young ladies that have had their time and fun in the dating market are going to say, bare minimum is a man who takes me to several exotic vacations every year. He cooks and cleans at home. He takes me to nice restaurants every weekend. And also he pays for everything because he's a protector, provider. And maybe I have children from another relationship, or I decided to get married in my mid 30s and I may have maybe one kid if I choose to stay with you duration of taking care of the kid, and you should be happy with that. Then guys are going to look at that and say, you know what, maybe either I'll try and solve these individually as individual products or problems, if you will, or I'm just going to go somewhere where young ladies just don't have a visceral negative reaction to the idea of a guy wanting to have kids and a legacy. I would suggest that young ladies take a look at Chipotle, because it's not a male loneliness epidemic. It's a these burritos cost too doggone much epidemic. Take notice. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.